It's your boy, TS.
And Jamie, and welcome to the Chronicles of Podcast.
The Chronicles of Bloodstock 2022.
Yo, what's up guys? It's Dani from Bury Tomorrow, and I cannot wait to do this podcast.
Yeah!
The question I ask absolutely everybody that we speak to though is, how was your pandemic season? I know we're still in it, but ish.
Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, it's 2.5 years, so it depends which bit you mean. I mean,
well, all of it,
the first
really.
bit was very shit.
Yeah.
The bit after was slightly less shit, and then and now it's even slightly lesser shit. So, no, it's a crazy time, man. I think it's a crazy time for everyone. I don't think that's exclusive to just people in bands, and obviously music's a big part of a lot of people's lives, and it was kind of ground to a halt slightly aside from the live scene stuff. So yeah, it wasn't great, but it's all the more better now we're back, you know, because hopefully there's a lot, you know, myself included, lots of people take music for granted, don't they? And they take being able to see bands for granted slightly, and so fingers crossed, the silver lining is that actually there'll be a lot more kind of investment back into live music again.
Like to hope so.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Because they literally just went, nope, don't care about the music scene, we'll leave that alone for 2 years. They can all just get by themselves.
It was mental, mate, really mental. All of us were, proposed to train to do other jobs. I remember that coming out.
Oh yeah.
Oh god, yeah.
Unbelievable. But you did your safe spaces every Sunday on Instagram.
I did, yeah.
But you had special guests the other time. I thought that was beautiful.
Thank you.
And obviously I think a lot of people attended, didn't they? I think you helped a lot of people doing that.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was just one of those things. Like, I've done physical safe spaces in the past, and like with my work in the NHS, like kind of run hand in hand in that way. But yeah, it was just a moment. It helped me as well as helped other people. It wasn't just a selfless act. It was like an opportunity to just talk about mental health, but it wasn't even like bad. It's just, we have to talk about condition-based mental health. It was like, you know what, let's just have a chat about what matters to us, and that seemed to connect with lots of people, and it gave them a regular point in time where they could kind of focus on themselves, because we don't do it, mate. It's self-worth and self kind of respect and not selfish. So it's one of those things of like, dedicate that time and you'll feel a lot better for doing it, for sure.
Absolutely.
So how is your Bloodstock so far? And I know it's a very, very hot one.
Yeah, it's warm, but I'm sure everyone said that. It's really cool. It's the first time I've been here, so it's really nice first time I'm here. It's always a nice thing when the first time you've been there to be playing. It's quite a privilege, and yeah, it's really cool, man. Like, everyone seems really stoked. Like, I've walked around a little bit, which lots and lots of people have come up and said hello, and which is really cool. It's a good indication of what's to come later on when we play. So
yeah,
it's really cool.
I mean, because we were in the sofa tent earlier and we saw all of you just stood there. So I don't want to fanboy to fuck, I'm not going to, but I'm a massive Bury Tomorrow fan. We've had Adam on our show as well.
Yeah.
And just so excited that you guys are here. But you were all hanging around. It was like, go on. I was like, I don't want to. They're all chatting. I'll just leave them alone. It's fine.
You should always come up and say hello. Like, we are not. I know it's like a perceptual thing, and people feel a little bit like it's like burdenous or something, but it's absolutely not. Like, this is what we do. We love it. If people treat us with respect, we're going to treat them with respect, and we love it, man. It's not something that we are ever like, oh God, I walked outside. I walked out front in Bloodstock. How dare people come up and say hello and they like our band? Like,
there's bloody fans of ours.
How dare you come up and say you like our music? That's so stupid. But yeah, I mean, I know some people have been burned in the past with people not in that same mindset, but I think genuinely most people in music are very appreciative when people come up and say hello. So, I mean, just say I told them to do it. You know, it doesn't matter who it is. Just go up and fucking poke them and say,
Danny, what's going on? I've seen you for ages.
That's it. It's really strange, man. Like, we did this for so long. We did, you know, we've had this like feeling that we've always gone out and seen fans after our shows. Like, it's literally been probably 3 shows I've ever played in 15 years where I haven't gone out and talked to people. And people are always like, oh, that's amazing. It's like, there's 2 elements to that though. Like, they are the reason. Like, people coming to see us, it'd be a fucking awkward show if nobody. So they're just as important as the kind of the people back here that we can kind of talk to, you know. And so it's never burdenous. It's always something that we really appreciate. But now, as you said, it kind of gets a little bit more like strange, because it's kind of like, all right, Danny, nice to see you again. I'm like, all right, mate, and then they go off, and I'm like, see you later then. There's no hype anymore. It's like, I'm like, I want a little bit of excitement, guys.
Your beard looks fantastic, by the way. I don't know what you were so bothered about.
It was like this long. It was really quite girthy. But, What a word. And in this weather,
great
it'd be girthy and moist. So, two of the most beautiful words you can use in the English language. I fucked it up really badly. I cut a bit of it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Cut this bit off. I'll be like, well, I've just got a full-on dad goatee. I was like, fucking cut it off. It looked intense. It was literally like, whoa. I was like, well, yeah, maybe, but I can't pull that off. So.
No, well.
The reason we wanted to talk to you today is obviously we're working with the Sophie Lancaster Foundation while we're here. We know you've done some work with them in the past.
Yeah.
What one made you want to get involved with the foundation?
I think anybody in the alternative scene, or most people in the alternative scene, kind of know the tragic incident that happened with Sophie and her murder, and I think equally I've been invested in the kind of work that Sylvie, obviously, who passed away earlier this year, and her work and how amazing she is or was as a human being, and continues to be in her legacy, moving forward, really, really inspirational woman, and really, really kind of kept Sophie's memory alive, and through really challenging, behaviours and how we treat each other, and kindness and discrimination and all of the stuff that I really genuinely hold as some of my core values and beliefs. Genuinely, it's something that part of my job is to look after inclusivity, diversity, and inclusion, and for me that's so important in this day and age, and the alternative subculture, which is kind of really been coined after from Sylvie and her work with hate crime and stuff, is around anybody that lives this alternative lifestyle, and for a long time we are marginalised, while some of it is partly that we want to be different and we want to be out there, and that's kind of when we're younger we do that, but actually everyone's right is to be different, and everyone's right is to be able to walk this earth, and for fear of any kind of prejudice or discrimination or aggression as what happened in violence, as what happened with Sophie, and so I've had that in mind for a long time, and then I saw, obviously I did the Coronation Street thing, which is a mini documentary with Coronation Street, who had worked with the Lancaster Foundation and Sylvie specifically around the storyline that they had, which was mimicking, it was very much parallel of what happened to Sophie from an alternative perspective, and then they approached me to kind of just post it, really, just repost the video, and I kind of said to them, look, if you want me to be involved, I'd like to do much more than that. I'd like to actually invest a lot of time in this and really do something that's going to matter, not just repost it on a band page. It's very nominal that anyone can do that. So that kind of took them the premise of this mini documentary, really exploring what the actors went through when they were getting into character and they were thinking about this storyline, and it just went down so well. It was on the ITV Hub and went really well, and that kind of got me into this mode of really understanding the charity a little bit more and the story. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, as I said before, everyone should have the right to be able to walk this earth safely. It doesn't matter whether it's their race and ethnicity, their religion, their gender identity, their sexuality, their choice in lifestyle, whatever it is, you have a right to walk this earth free of persecution. And so for me, that's what that charity stands for, and so I stand for that charity,
It's amazing. But like you say, not only should people be able to walk this earth and not be bullied for what they want to do, but you're a big advocate for mental health, like we touched on earlier. People need to understand these words they're saying, they're not, and hitting someone, it isn't just physical abuse, it is mental as well. I was talking to a girl earlier on, and she had abuse shouted at her throughout her childhood. She'd go home, she'd self-harm, and it was all she'd think about, because it really messed with her mental health. Absolutely. Not just her physical health, and it's so important.
It's crazy, man. I shared my story on that Coronation Street. I was assaulted when I was younger with a knuckle duster because of the way I looked. I used to have long blonde hair. Loved fucking being seen and emo, and it was my thing. I was banging to MySpace back in the day, and I was a MySpace king. And I got assaulted, and there was no rhyme or reason behind it. The only reason was because I looked different, and he took it upon himself to do it. I didn't antagonise the guy. He walked across the street. I did everything I was supposed to do, which was stand up for myself, but also walk away. My mum had always taught me that, walk away, walk away, walk away. And I went to walk away, and he punched me in the face with a 3-ring knuckle duster and separated my nose. And that was a really defining moment. As you said, it's not just the incident, it's the reliving of that. I went for a long kind of period of time of recovery, and still to this day, I still have moments no one will get into my face again. It's not going to happen, and it's not because I think I'm hard or I'll do anything about it. It's just because I just won't be in that situation, and that's purely because of that situation. But equally, what it's done is define my life in a certain other way, which is supporting other people to be able to kind of deal with that and talk about that and open up about that. Like, the more we talk about it, the more we can kind of make sense of it. And I've forgiven the guy. Like, it was what it was. He was on a certain journey in his life. He's on a different journey now. He went to prison for what he did and came out, and he kind of turned his life around a little bit. So, you know, like, I don't hold any animosity to him, but as you said, that residual effect is still there. So whilst I can say, you know what, whatever, and I could share a beer with the guy, like, doesn't mean that hasn't affected me for life, you know. And certainly when you look back at some of the stuff that happens, which is much more severe, inclusive of what happened to Sophie and her other half, like that shit doesn't need to happen. Like, why are we doing this stuff?
Exactly.
Like, what's the difference? What kind of gratification do you get from that? And mate, this world, like, inclusive of the charity and what they do, but myself as well, like, I genuinely speak about being kind, civil and compassionate, and like, that isn't about being friends with everybody and being best mates. Like, that's not realistic. But what it is the first thing you do in all situations is treat people with kindness and be active in your kindness. Like, not, oh well, I'm not horrible, so that's enough, or I'm not racist, or I'm not homophobic, or I'm not transphobic. That's not enough. Like, you have to be actively inclusive, and that's really, really important to me. So before you speak, elongate that time before that thought leaves your mind and it goes into action, whether that's a punch, whether that's a word. Like, elongate that time, take that breath. We've all been heated before, we've all thought about doing things before, that's just life, but like, you've got to elongate that time. You get taught it when you're younger, don't you, you know? You get taught, count to 10. Like, and then we unlearn it, and it's like, and we get taught, be kind to people, ask questions, ask for advice, ask for support. Like, that's what we're taught. Everybody's taught that in school, and like, when we unlearn it because we think that we should know better or we do know better, there's an inherent arrogance to just doing what you want all the time. We don't live in that world. That's not, you know, that's not what I'm for. So, yeah, long-winded answer, really.
No, it's great.
No, that's beautiful. Yeah, I couldn't say any better myself. That's beautiful. I absolutely love it.
Finally, are you pumped to get on that main stage?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really cool. Like, it's not going to be cool. It's going to be fucking hot. But yeah, it's going to be amazing, man. As I said, it's really nice to have walked around and experienced it, which I always like to do. Like, I never like to come in and just be backstage and then go on stage. It doesn't serve me. I like to experience a little taste of what other people are, like the fans and stuff. So, and we've had a lot of people come up and say hello and say that they're stoked for the show, which is always a good sign. Like, probably more so than I had even a download. So I think it's going to be crazy. And obviously, like, the core Bloodstockers have been waiting for us for 2 years. So, you know, we were supposed to play last year, and obviously all the stuff went down with the lineup change, and now we're playing this year. I'm sure there are people that just had tickets to both and they really wanted to see us, so I can't wait to kind of, you know, fulfill that today. And we've got pyro and make it a little bit hotter. It wasn't hot enough. But,
so you Behemoth spinning fire yesterday.
I mean, we're kind of in that place where, you know, Demi were on after us, and it's like, fucking hell, like, Demi and Behemoth, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Why are we even bringing fire? It looked like a sparkler on stage compared to them, but yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be really cool set.
Especially with the new lineup now as well.
It's a different level, man. Like, you know, we're always going to be biased, and I'm always going to say it's better. But like, you know, that is because I have to, and I want to.
Absolutely.
But it's a different energy, man. It's just a different band. It's a different show, and I appreciate that people might not be on that journey with us. That's fine. Like, people are welcome to their opinions, but for us, like, it's a different level of show. Like, we are slick and we are tight, and we take this shit seriously. You know, I'm at work. You know, this is my work, and it's the best job ever. But when I walk on that stage, that's my job, and I will take it as seriously as I possibly can. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm going to get them moving. It's going to be carnage. Yeah. I've seen quite a few people set up their chairs really close, and I'm like, you have no idea what's about to happen. It's going to not be fun for them. But yeah, I don't know if there's any bands like kind of like that yesterday. I think there's a select few kind of like in this vein of like us, like Malevolence are obviously quite in that vein later on in the tent, which will just be fucking mental. Yeah, they are a nutcase band. Like, they rule the stages, and obviously Lord and Sean are on right now, and so they're probably bringing the fire a little bit. But I think Lorna Shaw are a little bit late, so there was a lot of rushing going on back there. It's quite fun watching that stuff, because we've been there so many times. It's not fun for the band, it's horrible for the band, but it is, you're literally like, oh, they're going to make it, and then they made it, so that's great.
Dani, this has been unbelievable, and I really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, man.
And smash it. Absolutely smash it.
Really look forward to watching it.
Thanks.